Ooh, there it is. Welcome back, Point Through People, to season 2, episode 2. It is Wednesday, May 1st, which is crazy to think about. And we cannot thank you all enough for the support. Spider Brando, Hero Scroll,
Hello, hello.
and Lou, your favorite trio of hosts, back again to discuss the latest superhero and biggest pop culture news and notes from the past week. Listen, we have a fantastic live stream lined up for you all. Um, if you are fans of X-Men 97 and you are fans of the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine, stay tuned because we have something very special for you. Follow along whether you're watching this live or you're watching this recorded. Comment down below as we kind of run through what we're going to be talking about today with a special tier ranking. But before we jump into our rapid fire news with Spider Brando, there's 3 things that we always tell you guys to do, right? Keep watching, keep reading, keep nerding out. But that is what we live by here at the Point Through Podcasts. So Hero Scroll, what was the best thing that you watched this past week?
It took the cake right at the end, right at the end of the week. I think
Only time to take it.
Our weeks end on Wednesdays, technically, over here. But X-Men 97, episode 8. I'm not going to say any spoilers because it just came out, and one of us here haven't watched it. But also, we know that probably you guys were busy, and maybe you haven't seen it yet. Or maybe you haven't watched the entire show, which, what are you doing? Go watch it. But yeah, without a doubt, X-Men 97, episode 8.
And for keep reading, the best thing that I read this week, as you all know, if you're following the channel closely, we are on the road to Superman, and we have right here Gladiator. Essentially, this was published in 1930, preceding Superman's debut by 8 years, and really formed the archetypes and further developed superhero comics and literature. So I was kind of drawn to this because I want to know more about Superman specifically. And I thought that this guy was kind of, the 1A of superheroes. And I'm like doing some research on him, blah, 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 blah. Lo and behold, Gladiator by Philip Wiley existed. So had to pick it up. Got my bootleg copy of it here, crack this baby open, and find out more thoughts on our road to Superman when we discuss who is Superman in greater detail and give you guys a little bit of history. But for the last piece that we have here, for the keep nerding out, of course, Spider Brando, what did you nerd out about this week?
I had taken a little weekend trip to Philly to visit some friends, and across our adventures, we came across this little bookstore. Not a little bookstore, it was a Barnes and Noble's. What am I saying?
Bro, what? They got like 2 floors.
Worldwide chain Barnes and Noble.
I'm thinking of some like Shaq, and he's like, I went into a corporate bookstore.
Yeah, little coffee shop bookstore.
But I happened to come across, this is the first time I've ever seen it in person, the Marvel Cinematic official timeline.
Book spotted in the wild.
Just came out. Yeah, it was the first time I've ever seen it. The thing is hefty. And I was just like, I was stopped everything I was doing with my friends just to like go run towards it. And one of them even made a comment like, oh, look at him. He's like, oh, he just found his nerd thing. And rightfully so. I nerded out about it. It was freaking awesome. They really go like, I read a couple pages on there, and I can't throw this into reading because I didn't actually read much of it, but they really go through like the whole origins in the beginning of like, show like the timeline of like the Dark Elves and couple. I think you mentioned like the Celestials from like beginning of time, and they have a whole cool page of like interweaving storylines from like the year and like how certain characters tie together. And it's like a really cool diagram that I had no idea how to read because I just flipped to the page. But as a very big MCU fan and Marvel fan, I was nerding out about it. I didn't pick it up because
what's $100?
Pick it up, but it definitely is something I want in the future just to have.
I was gonna say, I feel like at some point we all need to kind of pick it up and do something with that Because it's funny that it kind of just came and went. It
Yeah,
feels
they
like
just
no one
dropped
really.
it. They dropped it at such like a time where so much was still coming out. So I felt like
Yeah.
I feel like it's outdated already, which is what sucks and why I'm not like really in a rush to get it. But
There's no interweaving of this new phase. It's just a bunch of lines that are parallel to each other.
I don't know what they're gonna be
They're
doing
just a
with
bunch
those,
of dots.
like a side project.
They're a bunch
They're
of dots.
they're like,
That's it.
all right, let's get this out before this whole multiverse shit even like gets
Yeah.
screwed up.
Yeah. I'd still think it's interesting though, because I never really saw anybody talk about it besides like one or two key details. but no one
Collectors
went-
and stuff. Yeah.
No one really went into like greater detail. So,
Oh.
you know, that's why you watch Point 3 though.
Yeah. We'll spend the money for you.
We'll do it
Gotta
for
be
you.
on point with point 3.
There you go. But rapid fire news, Spider-Man will kick us off because we have some interesting things that dropped over the past week.
So starting off with something not so interesting, we got Craven. It's delayed to December 13th, 2024.
No.
Oh no.
It's like the fourth time it's gotten delayed. It should just get canceled at this point.
Yeah. It's
Listen,
the second official delay, I think, right?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. To piggyback on top of that, at first it was kind of like, oh, okay, it's being delayed because of the whole strikes, and they want to kind of have like a clean year to market and all that kind of stuff. Not so much. Not so much. I mean, it's the fifth month of the year, and who cares?
Yeah. I'm sure Madam Web's Fallout didn't have much to do with that.
Yikes.
It's crazy that this movie got delayed a full year. We should have been seeing this movie already and talked about it and, you know, probably crapped all over it. But here we are talking about how at the end of the year, we're going to talk about this movie that should be basically over a year old. That's insane.
Maybe it's nope. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it would have been cool because I think the release date before this had after Venom's like most recent delay to because they didn't want to be involved with like the elections and whatever. They would have been like coming out super close to each other, so that would have been nice to just finally be done with the Sony burst within
It's like
2 weeks span.
It's like taking 2 shots of medicine. Like you don't want to do it, but we got to, and it's like, all right, we're done. I feel better now.
Just to what follows up Craven? Marvel wise?
Like general Marvel wise?
Yeah.
Captain America 4?
Yeah.
Right? And then Thunderbolts.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then Fantastic Four. That one.
Yeah.
Hold on now.
Okay.
But on to some MCU news. We have a Scarlett Johansson secret MCU project that's been in development for a while, from what I believe, has been revealed to be just a Disney Plus series. I have no idea what it's going to be about. Probably something to do with like Yelena and probably like some Black Widow movie type spin-off thing. I could see just for them to make some money, but I don't know. I don't know what else it would be.
Melina the TV show.
Dude, this completely kind of contradicts. I feel like a lot of things from a Disney Plus perspective has been contradicted by like Bob Iger being like, we're going to make quality and we shouldn't have made TV shows and blah, 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 blah. And like, you know, in video games, sometimes where you think you stopped like that giant sludge monster by throwing like a boulder in its way and you're like, oh, good, we're safe. And then it's just like, it just creeps over the boulder and then starts rushing at you again. That's Disney Plus. It's like, it didn't go away and nothing happened to make us be like, we believe you. This, I don't know. Scarlett Johansson secret MCU project that's been floating around. No, thank you. However, sign me up for Scarlett Johansson coming back during Secret Wars, some sort of variant, something along the lines. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
So suit up. Don't sit in your chair.
I agree. It's just weird how secretive they're being about it. That's what's like. What's the point that you're trying to do? Because I don't feel like it's hyping it up. More feels like at this point it's kind of that clamor of let's just get it done to be done with it, instead of trying to like actually generate mystery and it's a weird feeling.
One question: do you guys think this is fallout from what Disney may have promised her after her not getting her movie the way that it was supposed to be done, the release on Disney Plus? Like, do you think this is a part of kind of like Scarlett Johansson reparations of like, here's your project, we are contractually obligated to let you do this, but we want to keep it hush hush, but we kind of can't?
That makes sense. I don't know. I mean, after her whole like, I'm surprised she's still wanting to be a part of it. To be honest,
If she gets it directed, maybe. I don't know.
Wasn't there a rumor about that though? Like that?
Yeah.
That was kind of the case.
Yeah, but this was what, since 20, we're going on like 3 years of her rumored to be attached to some sort of project that she was going to like be the lead on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. If it's, I'll say this though. If it's Yelena focused, no, thank you for now. For now.
I agree with that.
I don't love Yelena in the MCU yet. I did the Thunderbolts, the jury's out for me a little bit. Just a little bit. Just some ground to make up after Hawkeye for me.
Well, if you'd like to see our full thoughts on Thunderbolts, go check out one of our recent videos on Thunderbolts and our theories with the title change. But moving on to some other MCU news. Got pretty much all Marvel news. Our good old best friend, Daniel RPK, is back at it, saying certain heroes, including the Fantastic Four, are set to be excluded from Avengers 5. Which is very interesting, but the timelines of when these movies are filming and when they want stuff to be out,
right,
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
If they still keep like, actually, I think today is like, either today or yesterday is going to be like 2 years from Avengers 5 release day if they keep it.
That's how long it's going to take. They should have started today.
They needed to.
Because what just went through reshoots? Sorry if that's news and I blew that. Something is going through reshoots again, though, I thought.
Deadpool and Wolverine is going through.
Yeah, through like May.
Yeah. It's kind of scary, kind of crazy.
A little bit.
But
I feel like that's post-credit stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be true. Just
very
tweaking.
minor.
Getting some last-minute cameos in there, like T-Swizzle.
Maybe. Honestly. Let me ask you guys a question on this one. Right, real world, and like obviously all things can't happen at once. That's a real thing. But is it a mistake for them to introduce Fantastic Four and not have them be on the scale of an Avengers movie as a follow-up and save them for maybe Avengers 6?
It depends. To me, it depends on how. I don't know. I could see it working in a way where like it makes their appearance in Avengers 6 that much more epic. But then that couple year gap will definitely hurt, as we've seen with like getting Shang-Chi introduced and like Sam's Captain America introduced all those years ago and just having nothing with them today.
Yeah. I feel like Hall H is where we're hopefully either that or D23. Hopefully going to get some answers in terms of what's going on with the next couple movies after Fantastic Four. And that'll clarify where we should see them again. Because if Avengers 5 is still for example, just using the title name, like a Kang Dynasty, and then Avengers 6 is still Secret Wars, then okay, it kind of makes sense if they're not in there. Or you can make it make sense. But if it's a Secret Wars Part 1, Part 2, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. And it's going to feel really dumb to introduce the Fantastic Four and then not use them.
Yep.
So, again, I really hope we get some answers soon. And, again, those two events feel like the best places to come out. Be like, hey, this is what Phase 5 and 6 are actually going to be, because we announced this 4 years ago, and a lot of stuff happened since then. And here's an updated time frame.
Get goosebumps just thinking about the next time Feige would speak like that and actually answer some questions. It's been so long. Keep on having to reuse this one photo of like the whole like Phase 4 and like Phase 5 timeline. And
Dude,
I'm like, man, it's so off.
This is that Titanic like Rose GIF where it's like, it's been 84 years. That's what I always think of.
Honestly, though. So yeah, hopefully.
Wow.
What? Staying with some Deadpool and Wolverine news that was brought up earlier. The director had came out and said fans don't need to do any research on past legacy movies before, or any MCU movie before seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. And Lou, I believe we have similar viewpoints on this. I would like to hear yours.
Fellas, point through people across the world. This to me is a yellow flag, not a red flag, but a yellow flag. Where I'm like, what? What do you mean you don't need any research on past legacy movies before seeing this movie? Last time someone from Marvel told me that, I'd watch Marvel Spotlight, and I'm watching Echo. I'm like, what is going on here? Because now you've become the movie that everyone has to research because no one knows what's going on. And if we don't have to do research on this, it makes me feel this is going to be more self-contained. And hey, this is just a fun movie that we're doing, guys. Insert reshoots for the post-credit scene that are going to make this feel connected to the MCU. I don't know. I still stick by my guns. That does not make me feel any better about this movie. Again, still going to be a great movie. Still going to make a butt ton of money. Maybe not as big of a butt, but still nice. And I know it's not Deadpool 3, but like, why would I not want to watch Deadpool 1 and 2? Why would I not want to watch Logan? Why would I not want to go back and like understand who this person is in front of me? If they truly are just separate variants, then I don't know. That or they got a lot of explaining to do. So
yeah, I was just about to say that. I got a little queasy after I saw that. I don't know why, but like immediately after I sent it in our little chat, and like you said, Lou, got me a little worried. I don't know, like I want them to put all of their knowledge on previous attempts at these like X-Men First Class and like honor those, kind of like how Toby and Andrew got very honored with having their moments of speaking about their past, and that really hit No Way Home so much harder, especially when Andrew was talking about his Gwen. I feel like they might not be doing some of that or referencing certain old events and stuff that happened and just kind of being like, oh, that shit didn't happen in this timeline. That didn't happen in this timeline. It just feels like a slap in the face a little bit.
It's just an odd way to market the movie, because you have a trailer that comes out and essentially in one frame, specifically the one with Ant-Man's body, you confirm that yes, there is somewhat MCU ties to it. But then also, if for all the eagle-eyed fans, you see a bunch of X-Men characters that have been in previous movies. So it's kind of like, in a way, you're going back on what you're saying, or the movie is going back on what you're saying. It's odd. It's just odd
Yeah.
because if you're someone who's never watched anything in the MCU, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say that one person is, but you watched Deadpool 1 and 2, and then you jump in here, and then you see this giant body, and you're like, what the heck is that? It's lost on you immediately if you don't have any of that, research part of it. So
Mhm.
it's a weird comment.
Real quick, last thing. The hard part for me about this and why it does feel like contradictory is because a lot of this is, Deadpool kills the Fox universe. Like, it only hits if you really know about the Fox universe. If you just see that and they're just mowing down characters, you're just like, oh, that would have been cool to see the Fantastic Four in a different way. And you're like, no, this is why. Like, I feel like hardcore fans or people that are kind of like more regular-ish and have been for a long time are going to have to explain this movie to their friends who are tagging along that are like, this looks awesome. I feel like there's going to be a lot of like context that will be delivered by the people, to the people, for the people.
Yeah.
Unless he's trying to say that the movie's going to explain itself.
Yes.
I mean, go ahead.
That's the best case scenario. If you're able to still do things for hardcore fans who do follow every little bit of the MCU, and you can still introduce these characters in a quick fashion. And let's take, for example, hate to use it because we talk about it all the time on the podcast, but X-Men 97, on the first episode, Spider-Man, even yourself, if you're someone who didn't watch the original series, it did a very good job of, in 10 minutes, telling you who these characters are very quick and where they are at. Unless again, best case scenario, that's what he's trying to say with this, and I hope so.
For full transparency, I will say the exact quote from the director, from Sean Levy. I very much made this film with certainly a healthy respect and gratitude towards the rabid fan base. It's a very odd choice to just go with rabid there. Towards the rabid fan base that has peak fluency in the mythology and lore of these characters in this world. But I didn't want to presume that this movie is built for entertainment with no obligation to come prepared with prior research. And that's the last part that gets me worried, is it's built for entertainment with no obligation. So that's the full quote.
I don't know, man. Even with X-Men 97, there's still a chunk of episodes you can go back to and watch where you're like, this fills in some gaps. Like, I know some of my like hardcore friends are just like, I like this a lot, but I feel like I'm missing something. Especially in episode 6 with the certain character we thought was gone, but was on a different planet. No spoilers. I think that was the first time people are like, why don't I know any of these characters? Because I've never seen them across any medium ever if I didn't follow comics. And I'm just like, what? And it's been sprinkled in, and I feel like it is kind of that thorn or like barnacle on people's butts where like they keep talking about these characters, but like, show me more about them. I don't know. And it's like, there's a subset of us that are just like, I hope they don't show anymore because we know a lot because they spent a lot of time with them in the original 92 series. I'm good. Like, I don't need a recap on them. It's weird. It's a weird ground. And Bodemaya said there's about 5 or 6 episodes that you should watch before the finale to give it more context. That can only work for so long, even for the best of shows. So it's not a huge ding, but I don't know. I feel like my stance hasn't changed. That doesn't make me feel any better. So
same. But moving on to some Chris Hemsworth comments and quotes, saying he Let me pull up the exact. Chris Hemsworth says he still cannot forgive himself for Thor: Love and Thunder. And I got caught up in the improv and the wackiness. I became a parody of myself. I didn't stick the landing. It seems like he puts a lot of the blame on Thor 4's interesting box office and review, or what's the word? Reception on himself.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me beg the question. Should actors feel bad about flops when it's not entirely their fault? Because there's a lot wrong with that movie, and I wouldn't say a lot of it was Chris Hemsworth's fault, more than just directing choices and things getting cut and what Marvel wanted at the time. I get he could play into the improv and all that, but at the end of the day, he's not the one directing the movie, making the final decisions on how like things should be. And we've had a lot of actors talk about flops in the past with Madam Web. Pretty much the whole crew just destroyed that movie after it came out. Ryan Reynolds has been pretty vocal on Green Lantern's flop. Brie Larson has been vocal on the bad reception Captain Marvel and the Marvels has gotten. And even Andrew Garfield with The Amazing Spider-Man. Kind of not really wanting to be. He had to get convinced pretty hard to come back into No Way Home for a character that he loves so much. And just the studios all destroyed most of these movies. But they're all taking the blame on themselves.
Hero, so Spider-Man, I think you bring up some really good points, and I think there's a really wide range of actors that have been vocal about the roles they've played, minus maybe Jared Leto. I feel like he's the one guy that's like, you guys didn't love my movie? Like, I thought that was great. And everyone's just like, what are you talking about? Like, no. And he's like,
he's been the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again.
Morbin time, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask one specific question to both of you since what's it been, a few months now since we talked about Thor. We've really looked at the trilogy, we've looked at the character, we've done a redo, we talked about the difference between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 appearances in the Avengers. You got so many different flavors of the Thor character with one actor portraying him, right? No recast. And we know that Chris Hemsworth is very passionate about playing Thor, and he had some health stuff going on, and he wanted to step away, said he would come back, needs to pay homage to the character, wants to do it differently after separating from Taika Waititi in Thor 4. But I want to focus, I just, this one question about the character who is a part of a flop, has been a part of a high and a low, still wants to continue. Madam Web, that I hope we never see them again, right? But Thor, you want to see again. My first question to you, and I'll start with you, Hero, is should he care knowing that he's been a part of the beginning and he will factor into the end of this saga in some way or another? Or has he done enough in the MCU to this point to be like, screw it? Like, it's not a big deal. I don't care. Like, can we really say, like, you've been there, you should have known better? Like, how do you feel knowing that he's been a part of so many projects, but feels the way that he feels about his last movie?
Yeah. It's hard to say, right? Because, and I wanted to clarify something very quick. This is more of a flop in terms of fan base reception, because Thor: Love and Thunder did pretty decent in the box office. Had a budget of $250 million. And it grossed about 760,
which is
760, which
not bad.
It's not bad. That is about 80 million less than Guardians 3. And remember, this is like 2022, which is still coming out of the pandemic. So it's not bad. It's really not that bad. But in terms of fan reception, it was. And it's nice that he cares that much. And I think it's given, like you said, very real life stuff where he wanted to step away, letting him kind of, I guess, meditate on the character and see where he wants to take it. Because in the same article, I've seen a lot of people take this quote, right, about him feeling bad and, saying how he didn't really stick the landing and kind of weaponize it against Love and Thunder. But in the same article, he's talking about how, he's happy that he was able to reinvent Thor in a few times in the MCU. And I think it's just another direction that he wants to take Thor again. It's kind of like something else that we talk about a lot in wrestling, that sometimes to stay relevant, you have to change your character.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, right? And kind of how Spider-Brando was saying, he isn't the one who had the final say, right? If the script was written for Thor to crack a joke, he's going to crack the joke. And because Chris Hemsworth is an actor who's going to more than likely give 110% and is very good at improv too, probably, he's going to ham it up and maybe at times make it feel like it was too much. And at the end of the day, again, that is not a decision that he made. I think the only thing that I feel like we should kind of take away from, especially in this case, is that Thor: Love and Thunder was a fun movie to work on for the actors, but wasn't made fully with the fan base in mind. And if you go back to one of our live streams a couple months ago when Taika Waititi said, "Hey, I really didn't know a whole lot about Thor. I'm just doing it for the paycheck." This is just kind of one of those examples of someone who wanted to make a movie and probably did some research, but said ultimately, I want to take it my way, and did that. So will we see a different version of Thor? I'm pretty sure we will. And I'm pretty sure Chris Hemsworth is again going to give his all, and it's probably going to work. And I hate going on for so long, but in that same article, he talked about how he kind of wanted to ham it up a bit because he was seeing how all the other Avengers, right? I think he said he felt like a security guard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His character, how he felt very serious. So he wanted to crack the jokes, right? It's kind of like the instance of if you have, you like candy, but you have too much of it. And then you're like, oh man, I really don't want to touch candy for a little bit. Like I need water or a vegetable. I feel like that's what's happening here. He had, all the fun, and now he's like, all right, I had it. It was good, but I want to do something else now with the character.
The hard part, real quick, to respond to that is you got this weird peaks and valleys for Thor, right? You had Thor 1, 2, Avengers 2 of like a serious Thor in a way, like kind of an awkward Thor in a way, right? This guy felt different. And then you get the revelation that was Ragnarok version of Thor, and then you get the Infinity Game version of Thor, of the two, just they're great in ways and maybe not in certain ways. And then you get Thor 4 after that. And I think Robert Downey Jr. was saying like what he did with Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame was just like, it was beautiful to watch. And then he comes back with Thor 4 and you're like, maybe that's not the Thor we really wanted. That's where I feel if someone is kind of a legend in that standpoint, you think that they would have a little bit more pull and say than being kind of the first version and iteration of him, where it's kind of like, okay, script is script, director is director, leave it at that. But it almost feels to me that it's like you kind of should have known. And like it feels weird that you didn't feel weird during this process and kind of maybe tweak things. Maybe he did. We don't know. Wasn't there. But my follow up to that then, Spider Brando, is: do you trust that he can get back to a Thor that we felt during Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame, in a way, of that badass version of Thor? Because to me, that almost feels like you're falling back into that security guard version of being the strongest Avenger type of character.
I feel like they can get him back there, and especially with out Taika, since he's out of there, and obviously Chris wanting to keep up Thor and expressing his feelings like this. I'm sure the next time we see him, they'll be taking notes, kind of like how they redid the whole Daredevil show and took notes based off of some screen testing and how Charlie was talking about how he was like wanting it certain ways, and a lot of film crews were just a little unhappy. So I'm hoping it's the same thing with Thor, and they realize what worked and what didn't work, and just work on what works. Because obviously, I want to see badass Thor again. I don't want to like Infinity War. Such a peak Thor for me. And like I want him to feel like a god. He's legit a god of thunder. He shouldn't feel any less than that.
Yeah. Hero, we know that you love Thor. What is your next ideal version of Thor look like for Chris Hemsworth?
Honestly, probably leaning more towards the father side, which would mean a little bit more of a serious Thor. But I do think there is room for a Thor where you have him be the more serious and more not straightforward, but like, kind of by the book guy, but still have room for Ragnarok moments. I think he just needs someone to take his talent, right? Chris Hemsworth talent of doing the improv and his comedic timing, because I think he does really well at it, and focus it and hone it down to precise moments and not all the time. And when you get that combination of a Thor from Infinity War that's a lot more, especially towards the end of Infinity War, that's a lot more serious, and you get moments of Ragnarok Thor, you're going to have probably the best MCU version of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for whatever they end up doing with him. I hope he gets another movie. I'm pretty sure he will, because Thor is definitely, it's a safe bet for Marvel, I feel like, especially when they announce that someone else is going to be directing it. Russo brothers, maybe. Sorry.
Dude, they're booked over in DC with Brave and the Bold. Don't come on.
Yeah, true. My bad. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, ditch the comedy, please. I don't love that. One last thing to this topic, because as Spider Brando had mentioned, you got the Madam Webs, you get the Sony projects of the world that are just, God, every actor you get cast and you're like, I already feel bad before we even started filming. But what is it from a fan perspective, right? We're not in the room with all these people. So when you hear them come out and say, like, I did feel bad about this, what is it that you need to see from a movie to be like, man, that movie did not do that actor justice? And I think of an Andrew Garfield when I say that. But Spider Brando, what do you look for to be in the position of like, I do kind of feel bad that your movie didn't do as well as it probably should have, and it wasn't as well received as it should have been?
I immediately, as you asked the question before you brought up Andrew Garfield, my first initial response was just gonna be like, Andrew like everything Andrew Garfield has done outside of like being behind the camera is just shows that like he genuinely cares for the character. Dressing up as Spider-Man to please like little kids parties and stuff. And just always him talking about his characters. He had a whole one quote sticks in my mind of when he was giving a speech out and brought up like the way Stan Lee designed Spider-Man to be. Stuff like that is like you could tell the actor really cares about who they're playing. These comments from Thor or from Chris Hemsworth, you could tell he cares about the character and is like reflecting on what worked. But on the contrast, like you got Sydney Sweeney out here and Dakota Johnson just straight up ripping everything about the movie, which rightfully so. But Sydney straight up came out and was like, "Yeah, I only did it just to get in for like a pitch for Sony for this other movie." Obviously, she didn't care about the movie at all, and like anyone but you ended up going on to make way more and get her so much more than Madam Web did. But and then Dakota Johnson saying never wanting to be in superhero movies ever again and never wanting to work here and there. Obviously, you could just tell the difference in the tone from the actors and actresses on how they feel about their characters just right then and there. Ryan Reynolds had a couple comments about Green Lantern, but he ended up getting to poke fun at it in the Deadpool 2 post-credit scene. So I thought that was I always think that's cool for an actor to realize that like they cared about Green Lantern, but just was like, yeah, this shouldn't have ever been made in general. Let's just go into this other franchise and just kill it from happening. So to me, it's just going the extra mile to fully wrap up your question. Just going the extra mile behind the scenes and like being one with the character that you're portraying in a potential flop movie versus just ragging on it and just like you don't see Sydney ever talking like she's whatever her character's name was. I completely forgot it. You don't see Dakota Johnson talking like that they're still Madam Web. They're completely over it. They did not care. And I don't think that helped the movie in the long run anyways, because those were coming out like a week after the first reviews came out for the movie. So it gave no incentive for anybody to see it after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people can feel, right, how sincere some of these actors and projects are. Yeah, you get that with Thor 4. I think it's a bad rewatch personally, but the people involved, you're like, okay, I can get behind some of these people and I can forgive this movie, if you will, and it didn't feel as egregious as a Madam Web. But everyone, really quickly before we transition into one of the most hype things that we will ever do on this channel ever, full bias from a massive Wolverine fan here. We want to thank all of you for watching us live. For those of you who are watching this recorded, drop a like, drop a comment as we go through this tier list. Which suit is your favorite? Rank along with us. Whatever you guys need to do, just make sure that you are commenting because we appreciate that. It helps us grow. And we love to talk to you guys. Check out our comments. We love the interaction. It's fun. It is super fun. But without further ado, Hero Scroll is going to tee this thing up and take us to the promised land.
Alrighty. So, welcome to the Wolverine suit tier list. We're talking about this in honor of kind of both X-Men 97 and also Deadpool and Wolverine coming out in just a couple of months. We thought it'd be fun to talk about different Wolverine designs. If this is your first time here with us in a tier list, your tier lists go from 0.3 certified. That is basically your S tier rank. It goes A, then B, then C, then the infamy of the
heck
D
is
tier.
this? Sorry.
No, say it again.
I
Say it again.
thought you were letting opening up for one of us to do it.
Say it again.
Bro,
What
that was the
heck
smallest
is
of
this?
cracks. It's the smallest. He's like,
Yeah, say it loud and proud. What is it?
What the heck is this?
There we go. The heck is this? You don't want to be in the heck is this. And if you've seen our tier list, our other tier list videos, there are some really bad suits and just designs that live in there. I'll be quite honest, it might be a little bit of a spoiler. I don't think we're gonna get any the heck is this in this tier list. I'm just saying. But
are you sure it's not a spoiler? It's a prediction.
True. But without further ado, we have 15 Wolverine costumes, right? We're going to be sharing them with you guys. If you don't see your personal favorite Wolverine design, don't fret. It might show up somewhere else. Yes, I know. We know that there are some costumes that were excluded. We're sorry, but
Oh, excluded. I like that. I like that very much.
But we can't do them all. It would just take too much time. But without further ado, let's start with the granddaddy of them all, the one that started it all. The first appearance Wolverine in Hulk, depending on who you are, 180 or 181. We're going to say 181 here on Point 3 Podcast. His first appearance. The very different mask than we're used to seeing. Similar traits to his most famous costume. What do you guys feel about this one?
Bro, my guy looks like a cat. Like, I get cat vibes from this one. I'm not going to lie. But it's iconic. Dude, that buckle is ridiculous. Like, it's just epic, in my opinion.
I like the Funko for it. And like
Big
that
fan.
comic cover.
Big fan. Big fan.
Yeah.
It ages very well, in my opinion.
It really does.
The mask, it's just weird to me.
It's too stubby.
Yeah, it looks like a black cat mixed with Wolverine mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, awesome.
I like it though, because obviously it is the first one in its history. So it does somehow it manages to feel like the first one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In the same sense of, like, for example, Spider-Man doesn't really have like a first suit. I mean, he does, the homemade one, but I mean, like, once he gets his official costume, it's not really a first suit. It just kind of ends up getting redesigned bits here and there. But this somehow feels like a first suit for him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go A tier.
A tier. A tier.
A was feeling good to me.
Well, Hulk 181 Wolverine, A tier. Next up, I think the easiest 0.3 certified that we're ever going to give out on one of these tier rankings. It's basically the most iconic Wolverine costume ever. The classic tiger stripe Wolverine, drawn by a lot of different artists. Maybe most iconically Jim Lee. Again, I'm going to say a 0.3 certified. I don't know if that's hard. But.
Listen, it's going to be 0.3 certified. The boots, fantastic. Belt, fantastic. Cowl, clutch. I would never have a complaint with this in my life, ever. Like, this is what I think of when I think Wolverine.
You would
It's
think
so
that.
I second everything that he just said. Is 100% 0.3 certified.
Yeah. You would think that, and this is obviously going for both costumes, but I would say more so this one because there is a lot more blue in it. You would think that a weird yellow and blue costume like this wouldn't work as well as it does, but for some reason on Wolverine, it just looks fantastic. And then the stripes on it, and again the belt, the boots with its like winged out.
Yeah.
thing.
The thing.
Can we give this suit a little something
Yeah,
special?
let's give it some love.
Give it.
Ooh. Dang, should we get a Wolverine one? Please,
Ooh.
please, 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 please,
Ooh.
please.
I'll reach out to the Go artist on it.
Please, please. I just want to throw something out there for this one. I thought the same thing too. The color combination doesn't work. If you kind of go back to our Batman conversation, we were ranking that why certain ones did or didn't work. The cool thing about Wolverine is he's muscular, like he's beefy. He's short, but he looks like, dude, my guy's benching like 800 and 900 pounds, squatting like 1200, like it's no problem. And it's not, I don't really know how to describe this. And so if you know what I'm talking about, let me know. But there's enough width in the character that the colors fit in each section of him. And it's broken up perfectly, especially because he's not really long with the red.
Yeah.
And it's just, everything just feels weird. Like if you were to paint this, I'd be like, what are you doing? But it's one of those, when it's done, you're like, God dang, this is a masterpiece. Like fantastic. I could never do this. I could never think of this. But shout out to Jim Lee and those that have tried to alter or change or keep or pay homage to the suit, because I think it's personally perfect for Wolverine, which is why I'll have this at the front of the list by the end of the night. Probably.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it does, to be quite honest. But next up,
it's got some competition though.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And that's the cool thing, that as I was making this and I sent it out to you guys, I was like, wow, Wolverine has a lot of really good costumes. And I think that sometimes people kind of forget that Wolverine is just a character who looks good.
But you know what, though? I just want to say this real quick. The funny thing about Wolverine is a lot of people think because he has a cowl, he's trying to hide his secret identity. But he isn't trying to hide his secret identity. He is just someone that threw a mask on because a lot of his teammates wore a mask. Like, he's okay not being in a mask, but he's always going to have one, which when characters don't necessarily care about their secret identity, but also their suit isn't necessarily their identity, you can get a lot of cool different variations. But you know Wolverine's Wolverine because he has his claws. That is, for me, point in case is going to be Wolverine identifier number one. And he's going to look badass, and you'll see. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. Well, let's keep on with the mask, a version that doesn't have a mask, and might not in the new movie either. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine from X-Men 1. This is the leather suit from the Fox movie. Spider-Man, I'm gonna kick this one off to you. When you look at this costume, where does it move you to?
I'm gonna go with C. It was. It's not like what the heck is that, but it's just weird. So I'm gonna comfortably put it in C.
Fair. Luke?
I got a Dehexis. Shout out to Bryan Singer for really taking late 90s, early 2000s fashion with my bootcut leather Wolverine suit. I hated this. I'm not going to lie. I remember when this came out, I was like, this isn't Wolverine. Like, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. I still don't like it. I actually kind of despise it. The heck is this for me?
Ooh. I guess I'll break the tie. I'll be honest. it's not my favorite costume. I think out of all of these, it's probably my least favorite one that we're going to talk about. And it comes down to two very big design choices within the costume. I don't mind the leather. That's whatever. But the weird X that goes across his chest, it almost looks like two giant belts. I really don't like that.
But how else would we know he's an X-Man? I don't know.
It's almost like, they'd put it on his belt buckle. Oh, wait, they did. But they still wanted to put it there. It doesn't really make sense. And then also the weird, like, shoulder pad thing. But
I don't know.
There's still something I like about it. I can't quite say what.
Listen, Storm looks dope.
Like it's sleek. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it's deserving of the heck is this. Because when I see it, I get what it's going for, but it's like, okay, it's not my favorite. So I would also say C tier is kind of where this lives.
Yeah. No, that's good. Shout out to my boy Scott Summers in the trailer for X-Men 97, where he's throwing Cable his suit, and he's like, "What do you think this is? Black leather?" I'm like, "My boy."
Good dig after all these years.
That's fair. I'll live with that.
All right, we got a range so far, guys. This is fun. Next up, one that I didn't even know was a thing until we were doing research for this episode. Excuse me, X-Men Evolution Wolverine. This was a series, kind of short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
Does a very different colors, not very different. Does a different color scheme for Wolverine that I think not a lot of people are used to, because this doesn't even have yellow or any sort of yellow on it, which is a kind of a big departure for the character. But it's basically this brownish, almost orange-like color with the black rest. And I'll be honest, this is, to me, the most solid B I've ever seen.
I'll go B. If he didn't have a cowl in this, then I'd be like, maybe a C. But one, at least it's a costume. Yeah, I do like it, and I think it's legit.
Cool take that they have with at least like the one picture we have up there with the kind of the shoulders going like out to here, but then kind of free wind like in the pit area. I don't know. Looks kind of cool to me.
It oddly feels like a very Mortal Kombat design. I'll try to see if I can find a picture of what costume I'm talking about.
It reminds me of like if Invincible were to take Wolverine into their universe and give him a suit, kind of like what they just reswapped Agent Spider and like the Bug-Eyed Spidey into just those other colors. It reminds me of something Invincible would do in their verse for like a Wolverine-esque character.
Listen, not bad for the time when this came out from a cartoon perspective. Not bad.
Yeah, it's really not. It's a good choice. Like, I feel like they could have done something very bad if they wanted to, but it feels like they reserved themselves a little bit and still went with colors that go well with Wolverine.
Yeah.
So I appreciate them for reining themselves in with this redesign.
They tried.
Next up, a very short-lived costume, but one that not a lot of people know about. The Fang Wolverine costume. He takes this from someone that he beats in the comics, and he wears it for a little bit. It has bones everywhere and teeth for some reason. I'll be honest, this is a C for me.
It's okay. I don't love it personally. I feel like it like reminds me of like Craven and Sabretooth like slap their costumes together. You get this?
Yep. I'd say it's a C.
I'd go C.
What would make this better though? Because I feel like there really isn't anything they could do. Because I feel like if he puts on a cowl on with this, it ends up being way too much because of the like all the ornaments with the with the necklace and the bands that he has everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would end up being too much. But then also, I feel like it doesn't have enough. It's a very weird costume.
If they put a big X in the middle of it.
In bones? So that way we know he's an X-Men?
Yeah, it's a story thing for me, right? If I was attached to the story, I may love this more. I'm not, and therefore I don't see this as like it really could get any better. To be honest with you, like okay, I'll say it if I have to say something. Maybe the placement of the bones, if it was a little more interesting. I feel like it's really basic, and it's just like here, like created a player in wrestling. You're just like you scroll the presets, and you're like, well, I'll choose that.
Bone Man.
Yeah, I'm just Bone Crusher from Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this costume did predate the next one that we're about to talk about, so you can kind of see where the inspiration comes from. But I'm gonna say it, the second easiest 0.3 certified that we're gonna give on this tier list, at least for me personally. The brown Wolverine costume. I love this costume so much. It is such a good alternate color for Wolverine, because it just kind of takes the classic suit and tones it down a little bit, but adds to it with a nice color scheme that goes well for him, and he still looks really good. I don't know, man.
Super good. Well, Spider-Man, what do you think of this one?
No. I would 0.3 it. I really like it. That suit and obviously his blue and yellow are always the two that really like stand out to me.
This one's just so clutch. Like it's the design, it's just everything about this era and like the character styling. It's so good. This is one of those where you loved Wolverine in his yellow and blue. Like when you got a chance to see this alternate one, you're just like, oh,
yeah.
I still know it's Wolverine, and you're still getting it.
I was gonna say, name me any other comic book character, and I feel like you really can't. That is the same person, right? Not a different dimension or a different person. That has as iconic of an alternate costume, where I do genuinely feel like where you will go and ask some people, hey, when you think of Wolverine, what do you think of? And I think a lot of people will say the classic blue, yellow, tiger stripe suit. But I do think there would be a number of people that would also say this brown variant. And that's more than okay, because this is a very, very good suit.
I think Superman's black suit is the only other character that you may have an alternate that people choose over the traditional OG color scheme.
I could.
It's more modern. I feel like you have more modern Superman fans that are like, yo, give me that black suit Superman all day long over, especially at post 2013. Everyone was begging to see that. But then again, that suit was kind of dark on its own. But I think you have your Superman purists who are like, never. But then you have your modern fans that are just like, it's the best I've ever seen Superman.
Mullet and all.
Yeah. Legit.
Well, living up there in 0.3 certified. We got 2 so far. Let's see if we'll get some more. Next up, the Fear itself, Wolverine, the Asgardian armor that they get. A lot of glowy bits, kind of fiery claws. I think this is a very fun costume for him. I don't know if it's 0.3. I also don't know if it's A, but I really like it.
I like it,
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
but it reminds me of just like such like an out there costume choice, like the Batman Who Laughs esque.
Yeah.
I would put it in B. Right dead smack in the middle. I'm not obsessed with it, but I don't hate it.
I'm gonna go A on this one because I think the story is dope and everyone kind of gets like a nice upgrade. But Wolverine, when he stands next to everyone else, I'm just like, well, boy's still looking top tier.
I just, I was going to say, I think what puts it at an A for me personally is the fact that they somehow make the cowl end up looking like the Destroyer armor.
That's what I always think of. Yeah.
Like I see this and it really just feels like the Destroyer armor is just Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I think that's what puts it over the top. If it didn't have that, it might be a B.
God, dude, that entire crew. Oof. We should read this and talk about it.
We should.
Just go through this round.
Fear itself is one of those mini series and events that I think not a lot of people remember happened. Just because of the time frame in which it came out in.
Yeah.
It's one of kind of those like forget it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go A for awesome. Lock it in.
A for Asgardian because that's technically where it's from. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Next up, the most modern comic Wolverine new costume. We got the X-Men, the Krakoan era of Wolverine, right? This is very similar to the brown suit Wolverine, but there are its differences, its major differences. The belt is different. It becomes more of a like a utility belt.
Mm-hmm.
And also the brown runs through the pants. And the cowl, I think, is a little stubbier in this one than it is the original one.
Stubbier and sharper.
Yeah.
I still really like this one. I would put it in A personally, but this one feels more of like if you were to take the brown and then like add some stealthiness, X-Forciness to it, of course. Like you get that kind of fitted, I'm still going to beat the hell out of you, but it's kind of modern. I'm going to beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
And A, baby. Big old A.
Yeah. I like it an A.
Yeah. A for amazing, even though this isn't Spider-Man. But yeah, no, I think it's one of those you just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it feels like that's what they did. They took the brown suit and they were like, okay, we can't really do too much, but we can just kind of add a little bit, a little flair to it and see where we can, take it down. So I enjoy this costume a lot.
Yeah. I completely forgot about this one, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. I'm wondering if, since the Krakoan era is coming to an end, if we will see another redesign for Wolverine. I know they're making a new X-Men series, and I know Cyclops is getting a new costume that we haven't seen before. And I know Wolverine's in the team, but I can't remember if he has a new suit. We'll have to check that later.
Yeah.
Next up, we got everybody's favorite old man Logan. He has his trench coat. He has his red shirt. He has his cowboy hat. Spider Brando, I'm going to throw this one over to you first. How you feeling on Old Man Logan? Comic Old Man Logan, by the way.
Well, let's just say I've had the comic in my possession for a very long time, and I haven't read it yet, but I do plan on it soon. I don't know where I would put this. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely not like it's B or above for me. It's just it's not really like a it's just kind of just hem. That's why it gives me issues with trying to rank it. I would say just given like the story that I've heard that it's attached to, and obviously an old man's not gonna be wearing freaking tight latex and leather, and he still looks badass in it. I would go A.
Yeah. Double it up, baby. Hey,
Yeah.
the best version of Logan.
I'll triple that.
Triple A.
It's just, yeah, triple A. No battery. I just feel like it's one of those designs that it's simple yet effective.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially in motion and fighting, and like seeing those panels where like the coat, like you I think the one cool thing that I always see with the coat is it adds so much motion in the way that it flows when he's slashing and those types of things. Like it just looks just dope.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, great alternate like reality story too, but great costume for Wolverine because you can still tell it's Wolverine. I think that's what makes a good design, like alternate design, is when you're able to do something different but still be able to tell, no, that's this character.
Yeah,
no doubt. So next up we got Patch, I want to say alter ego of Wolverine when he's in Madripoor. Patch. He has an eye patch. He has a suit. He has a bow tie.
What do you got? No, what do you got? What do you got?
I don't know why. I really want to say 0.3. Like,
right.
It's another instance of the old man Logan thing where it's just simple, but it works so well for Wolverine because we're so used to seeing him be this like more savage, fighter. When he's this, it's a little different,
He's got class.
Yeah,
He's got some badassery.
Yeah.
I'm going 0.3 for that.
Triple it up.
Oh yeah.
Triple it up, dude. My guy, who's pulled off a better fit with a cummerbund? Like you're telling me there's nothing, it just bleeds cool. Like it just oozes cool. I would love to see like a 007 version of like this, but just with Wolverine.
Yeah.
Hey, Fox, you messed up. All right. If you're gonna do Logan, you should have put this guy in there. Just saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Deadpool Wolverine has him.
Man. And if they do it right, it's gonna be, oh man, because he also has an eye patch. And like, let's be honest, not a lot of people can rock an eye patch unless you're a pirate or Nick Fury. But he rocks it really well.
What are you gonna say to him? Like nice eye patch. So,
yeah. No, because
he might
stab you,
That's what I'm saying. He's like, you need it more than I do, and I'm like, no, I don't. Bam.
Yeah.
That's it. Drops into my martini.
Shaken, not stirred. This is what he just starts shouting at random one-liners as he stabs people.
Oh, I love that. I'm probably going to think about that all day tomorrow.
Yeah. Next up, another more modern redesign, but that takes cues from a classic costume. We have Astonishing Wolverine. I'm going to throw it up there. To me, this is another 0.3 certified, if I'm being honest, because it just takes what the classic one does and it just modernizes it a little bit, and it looks really, 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 really good.
This, okay, Spider-Brano, if you're on the fence for this one, anytime this man is drawn walking, very few Wolverines look as badass as this version does. When he's just walking, like he's just beefy and just as like it looks so good. I'm going 0.3. And as inspiration for Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm going 1.3.
That's
There we go. There we go.
That looks beautiful.
Shout out Marvel Legend. They're making a Astonishing Wolverine figure based on this costume. It looks really good. I have mine pre-ordered. This is not an ad. But I'm just saying this costume just looks good in everything I've seen it in. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Spider-Man Web of Shadows game, I think, does a similar costume to this one. And it looks really good.
I forgot about that.
I like the blue that goes all the way down.
Yes.
And the little yellow tiger patches. Oh,
yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, dude. It's clutch.
And the gauntlets are a little different too, with the hits of yellow and
yeah, I see it.
It's just what a good modern take on the costume.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Beast did not get the same love during this run.
Someone took a look at Beast and they said, I hate that character. Let's make him ugly.
I know this isn't a Beast one, but oh my gosh, that would be a Deheckasus for me.
Yeah, I'll throw a picture up there so people can see what we're talking about in the video. Here it is right now. Look at it. It's ugly. Yeah. Next up, Ultimate Wolverine. He very, similar to X-Men movie, kind of, where it's like leathery. But it takes inspiration from comics that are a little bit more yellow. He doesn't have a giant X belt buckle thingy. He does have an X badge though, which is cool. Pretty cool to me. And I actually do like the stripes going down the shoulders in a primarily black costume. It's a B for me.
It's
not bad though.
No, I would go B. I would go B. This does remind me more of the other version of Wolverine that we got from X-Men Evolution as well. And
yeah, I'm feeling B.
It's cool. It's got the stripes, it's pretty badass, but
yeah. I'll be honest, I've never read Ultimate X-Men, so I'm not too sure how good. I've heard decent things. But I don't know. It's not a costume I love, but I don't hate it. I feel like it could be worse.
Yeah.
But it could be better.
I agree.
So next up, we got Weapon X Wolverine. The giant helmet, the wires, everything in between, the claws. Where are we feeling this one, gents?
Guys, I need to say this. This for me is number 2 on the entire list. This is a 0.3 certified. When I think of Wolverine, I don't think Logan. I don't think of the face. I think of the weapon that is Wolverine. You get the fit, and then you get this. And I think this is one of the coolest, timeless, ageless versions that you would ever see associated with him. It's not going to be drawn the same way. It's not going to look the same way today, right? But it's who is this monster?
If I saw this in the wilderness, I'd be terrified.
Oh, dude, hell no. If I'm walking and I'm in the woods and it's snowy and it's quiet and I see this man, not even Samurai's life out. I'm done. I'm not giving you a chance. It's over. I love this personally. I go 0.3 certified, but full bias.
Spider Brando, though, you're kind of quiet over there on the Weapon X chat. What are we feeling?
Honestly, I've been researching some pictures because I slacked on that before. I'm not gonna lie. When I first Googled Weapon X Wolverine, I was like, what the heck is this?" But after looking at a lot more art and just like comic panels, that I almost just cursed so bad. That dude is so intimidating, and I would shit myself if I saw him in the woods. So I'd go 0.3.
Uh-oh, hero.
Yeah, no, it's 0.3. Like, no doubt. Where he'll end up on the 0.3 spectrum, we'll talk about towards the end. But yeah, this is another easy 0.3 for everything you guys have said. The only thing I have to say and kind of just bring up is it's unfortunate that in X-Men Apocalypse they really tried their best to give us a Weapon X, and it wasn't that good. I'll be honest. It wasn't that. I'll throw a picture up right here. There he is.
Wait, can we see it? I don't think we can see it.
Oh, I mean, wait, future state.
Oh. Edits.
In the edits.
Edits.
But yeah, I don't know. And I think it's a good try, but I think what it's missing is that visor helmet and the fact that he still has one, but it's like completely open to show Hugh Jackman's face. And it's like this weird shape. It just doesn't look good.
The best that this is like ever done isn't really even a Marvel related project. I always think of like Blanca from Street Fighter, of like the portrayal that this had, if you guys are familiar with that, of like just how like unhinged and visceral this looks to me. Like this is an animal.
Yeah.
Like this is stage this peak. Imagine if we got this in Captain America sharing screen. Just saying.
Oh,
That'd be wild.
Any of these 0.3 with Cap on screen would be.
Oh, my guy Steve looking fresh next to Patch.
Mm.
Like, hey Sailor, how's it going? He's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, don't touch me.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah. And then Sharon Carter comes out and she's like, I'm in Madripoor too. I'm the power broker, by the way.
Zemo just in the background, just dance.
Patch is like, wait, isn't that Baron Zemo? Oh Lord.
Oh gosh. So many good things they could have done at that. Oof.
Honestly. X-Force Wolverine. This is just and I don't mean this in a bad way at all, saying this is just, but design-wise, it is basically just the brown costume, but in a black and gray colorway, and it kind of leads more towards the Krakoan Wolverine, where the black kind of continues down into the like inner leg area, depending who's drawing it, and the longer cowl. So it's a mix of different ones that we've seen. The X-Force did come out before the Krakoan Wolverine, though. Just saying. I know in my heart of hearts that this is just a simple color change, right? But it's so freaking good.
Listen,
It's so bad.
Oh, I was gonna say 0.3 all day long.
Yeah.
Shout out to
black and white.
Yes, but have you guys ever seen those renditions of like, you know how they showed Deadpool and Wolverine walking next to each other when they first like leaked it and
like
stuff?
Both of them as like X-Force.
The X-Force versions of like the black and gray Deadpool and then like this color scheme Wolverine. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they do it in the movie. I think that'd be so cool.
Yeah. If we could get like a quick little cameo of an X-Force costume, ooh.
Please.
That would be so beautiful.
Variants galore.
Question though.
Okay.
Would this color scheme work on the tiger stripe costume? It was something I was thinking about as we were making the tier list. That I'm like, it works for the brown costume design because I think of the way that suit's designed. But as I was looking at the tiger stripe one, it could work, but I also don't know if it would work as well.
I think you would need it to be a black on black, but the stripes are kind of like more of like a matte black on a black type of thing, like it's subtle, but still you notice the stripes are there. But I think they could pull. I maybe it's on the internet already. We can find it, or someone can mess around with it in Photoshop or something. I think so. The red would be important. Where do you have any red? If you do,
Rando, your thoughts?
I think it could be. I think it could work. That's all I got. Yeah, I don't really. Oh, I just came across the
Deadpool Wolverine.
Deadpool Wolverine X-Force.
Nice. It looks good. Again, I remember Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. One of my favorite alternates is just the X-Force costume.
It's awesome.
It looks
It's awesome.
The day we get a Weapon X like super ultra combo on screen is the day we can just die happy.
Yep. Podcast is over. Yeah. The last episode is the review of that. Just done. I'm excited for this next one though.
I am too. And I won't lie, when I was looking back at it and looking for a picture, I had to look through multiple pictures of this one for some reason because Tiermaker is very particular on how it likes its formatting. But we got the X-Men Origins Wolverine with the jacket costume is basically what people were calling it online. So it's basically just his civilian clothes, and he has a jacket on. I like this costume for him.
For Hugh Jackman, live action?
Yes.
I think it's a good choice. I think it's good. I would say a nice, solid A. I know this is 0.3 for some.
I was thinking B.
Oh, what? Oh. That's completely opposite what I was. I thought you were going to be like, yeah, I like this. This is point. So I know people that love this look. I don't hate it, but I don't think it's better than any of the other ones, but it's cool. But that could be B for sure.
To me, it's just average, and I think B is just the pretty average rank for it. It's not like, I mean, it screams Wolverine when he's got his claws out, and like it's Hugh Jackman, but it doesn't like. Besides that, it does. If he retracts his claws and swap anyone else, it just looks like some regular guy in a suit. So, like, it's not a knock on it to put it in C or the heck is this, but it's not anything like great that it has to be A or 0.3 where it's like that is Wolverine. To me, at least. So, I like B.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to say B.
Okay.
But I'm going to say the top of B. Like, this is borderline A. And the only reason I'm going to say B is mainly the jacket itself.
It is a cool jacket.
It is a cool jacket, but what I was going to say more so is that it feels like someone trying to cosplay Wolverine, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it actually feeling like Wolverine wearing civilian costumes. It feels like the designers were like, no, we have to put like yellow in there, but like this dirty yellow, so people know.
Yeah.
Wolverine, and we need 3 stripes because 3 claws and
dude.
Instead
that's
of
why I can't
being a jacket.
That is my number one gripe with live action Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Everyone's like, oh, he's definitely Wolverine. He's got yellow on his jacket. How do you not know that's Wolverine? I'm like, dog, that's Logan. Like, that's Logan. Old man Logan is Old man Logan. We didn't say Old man Wolverine. We said Old man Logan. This is Logan. That's it.
But I don't mind this costume. I still like it a lot.
Yeah.
I just think it's not in the upper echelon of A's and 0.3 certified stuff.
So, question. I sometimes count this, and I kind of am counting it in this scenario. If he was sitting on a motorcycle, and we include motorcycle plus jacket plus all that stuff, would it be in the A tier for you? Of like the look?
Yes. Because as soon as you said that, I have the image in my head of when, he's going down this exact dirt road, the helicopter shooting at him, and he uses the claws to like whip himself around and then like strike the floor and,
just turn
blow the
radius on
helicopter
max.
out. Yeah. I'd put it at A. High A, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like he needs an accessory for this one.
Give him
Not bad.
motorcycle. Give him the motorcycle. It'd be an A for me as well.
Okay. All right.
What if he had a cowboy hat?
No.
Oh, in a bar next to him on the bar top? Sold. Or if he's just wearing it. I don't know, man. Okay. One last question. I gotta ask it. What if he has the same fit, but he's in like his flannel instead? Do we prefer that look over a leather jacket version of live action Wolverine?
With a cowboy hat?
I'd give him the cowboy hat. I always think he needs a cowboy hat personally. I like him with cowboy hats.
I don't know. I don't like the cowboy hat on him.
Oh, dog. I like him with a cowboy hat with a nice piece of straw in his mouth. Somebody rolls up to him. My guy's trying to sleep in the middle of the day. And somebody's like, why are you sleeping in my bar top? And he's just like, one claw comes out of the middle. And he's like, you want to see where I can fit this? Or you want to keep walking? And they're like, sorry, man. I was just asking a question. And they're just like, and they spill, drink all over themselves. That's just what I always picture.
Yeah. It's just, give him I hope we see Wolverine with a cowboy hat one day.
Does he have one in the game? Did he have one in the game trailer? I can't remember if he was wearing one.
Yes, he does.
He did. He had his flannel on too, I think.
Yes. The game's gonna be good.
Yeah. I have original thoughts.
Yeah. Well, gents, that is the tier list. We are done so far. But again, if you are new here, we don't just like to do the tier list itself. We like to rank within the tiers as well. So to quickly go over it, we're gonna start from the bottom, work our way to the top. At the heck is this? A 0.3 first. We don't have any.
You were right.
Wow.
That was a prediction, baby. But
well done.
We do have 2 in C. We have the X-Men movie, the first film, the leather costume. And then we have the Fang Wolverine. In front, we have the X-Men costume. And then in last, we have Fang. Do we feel like this is in the right order?
Lock it in.
I agree. I see Spider-Brando nodding his head in approval. So,
Dang, you got the spider nod?
No, I like that.
Blessed. You've been blessed.
we have, moving on to B tier, we have the X-Men Origins Wolverine, the jacket costume. We have X-Men Evolution Wolverine, and then we have Ultimate Comics Wolverine. I feel like someone needs to shift.
Guys, I looking at this, I kind of want to move one of them into C tier.
Oh,
Evolution. I kind of feel like Evolution's a C guy.
Why is that?
Dude, my guy is tall character with his no quad self and his long legs. Like, you can move next to the bootcut god over there for all black leather.
Mhm. I won't lie. I still feel like he's B.
That's fine. He's last. He's last. He's last. I think he's
Last?
last.
Yeah,
I think
I would
he's
put him
last.
last.
The stance of Ultimate's just getting me every time I look at him. I'm like, oh, he's about to mess somebody up.
I was gonna say the more I look at Ultimate, the more I feel like
I'm with you.
it should be.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Spider Brando.
Yeah,
He should be at the top.
I agree with that.
I'll agree. I'll agree.
I think I don't know. I think the weird like stripes on the shoulders are growing on me. It's a simple design, but I don't know. I like it a lot.
That was one of my favorite parts of the suit. I just wish he had a cowl on. I don't like Wolverine not having a cowl.
Well, in A tier, you don't really have to worry about that except for the last one. But we have the first appearance of Wolverine in Hulk 181. We have the Fear itself, the Asgardian armor, as some will call it. From, again, the Fear itself miniseries. We have the newest one in the Krakoa Wolverine. Then we have Old Man Logan himself.
That's a tough one.
This is tough because I feel like it's not wrong, right? This doesn't feel wrong to me the way we have it right now. But I
would
also
move
feel
one
like someone would move. Yeah. Who would you
I
move?
would move the Krakoan and the Fear itself and football. I would put Fear itself all the way at the end, and put
Ooh.
Logan or Old Man Logan at 3, and the Krakoan at 2. Just
I like that. I like that.
I can live with that.
I can live with that as well.
I can live with that. Point 3 certified. This one's going to be fun. We have the most iconic Wolverine costume, the classic tiger stripe Wolverine. We have the second most iconic Wolverine costume in his brown costume. We have the best alter ego costume for Wolverine in Patch. We have the best modernization / redesign ever in Astonishing Wolverine. We have the best feral version of Wolverine in Weapon X, and then we have the best palette swap in the history of palette swaps besides the Mortal Kombat ninjas in X-Force Wolverine.
Boys.
I think that's it right there.
It might be in order. Yeah.
I think it's in order already.
Yeah.
Oh, the only
I would move one.
I would slide Patch back 1.
Really?
Oh, okay. Nope. I was just trying to guess what you were guessing.
I was gonna say
up?
Yeah, Weapon X up.
I mean, if Weapon X is over Patch, IMO. In my opinion, my humble point of opinion.
Man.
My humble shaken, not stirred. That's how I look at the rankings. I'm not going to stir them up. I'm going to shake them up.
Yeah. Spider Brando?
I'd put Astonishing over the both of them.
What?
Oh man, some dissension in the ranks of the tiers.
Okay,
Man,
but
I mean,
tough.
I'm not too
X-Force is last for sure.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Just because at the end of the day, it is just a palette swap.
Okay.
When you break it
I'm
down
not-
to like its most core.
I'm not too familiar with Patch and like Weapon X's. I mean, I know like the whole origin of like Weapon X, and, like Wolverine is Weapon X, but I don't know. I'm still. This is still something that like just classic and rejuvenated about that Astonishing suit. And my own personal bias of not knowing those two puts them back a little less. As cool and badass as they are,
Okay.
I
What
don't
if
know. I don't know.
what if we did this? It would make everybody happy, I feel like. We did that. And then we did that. Does this feel right? If we have Tiger Stripe Wolverine, brown costume, astonishing, Weapon X, patch, X-Force.
Bro, my guy Patch is so clean though. He's just
He
so
is
clean.
Dude, that the problem with Wolverine is, and I think it's these two, it's that we love the feral side of Wolverine, but when he's smooth, and he looks good. So it's
My girl
hard.
Jean melts. My girl Jean melts. She's like, "Oh, Logan." And he's like, "The
Yeah.
name is Patch, honey. The name is Patch."
Like
Oh,
especially, and I
10
and I
on
think
red.
I think what sucks is that this picture's so good of him. Like
Dude, it's
one
so
hand in
It is a
pocket,
great
the other
picture.
one out with the claws. It's like, ooh.
It's so good.
Maybe when Deadpool and Wolverine comes out, if we get a patch like we saw in the trailer of a suited up Wolverine, my opinion will change on it. But
Bro. It's so head of
I
the
like
table,
that
baby.
order
Throw
that
the
we
ones
have
up
right
real
there.
quick for Patch. Oh,
Should, okay. So is Patch above Weapon X? Because I feel like the first three and the last one are locked in. So
dude, okay.
it really comes down to Patch and Weapon X.
But that's kind of why I have the astonishing in fifth. Like, he looks cool, but like the first one, iconic. The second one, double iconic. That one, I'm like, nah, my guy looks good. But then I'm like, oh shoot, Farrell. And then I'm like, oh dang, smoothest guy in the club. And then I'm like, oh, okay, X-Force is cool. I feel like astonishing is closest to X-Force, but Patch next to X-Force, I'm like, something's just there needs to be something in between. Guys.
Picking up what you're putting down.
I can see that. I can see that. So Spider Brand, are you okay if we move him back a bit?
Just let's just look at it for a minute.
Whoa,
Let's
that's
just
too
look at
far.
it.
That's too
Yeah, my bad.
Hmm.
But you see, then when I put him next to the brown costume, and then I feel like it needs to go like this.
Shoot. Maybe he is third. Maybe he is third. Because then
I
I'm
put him
picturing
at
him walking
3 just
again, and
because
I'm
of
like, dang,
iconic and just
bro, he looks good.
I-
He looks
he
good.
does look good.
Okay, hold on. One more peep. Oh man, he looks so good. All right, I give it third. I concede.
I think if it was any other cover picture or anything that we had used, that it might be less, but this picture of Patch just goes so hard.
So hard.
Man, Wolverine is, I think what this shows to us, Wolverine is one of the best looking characters ever. Best designed characters all time.
Any platform, anime doesn't matter, American doesn't matter, book doesn't. I'm not fine.
Yeah,
Like this guy's got versatility.
Top 2.
Ooh.
Huh?
Ooh, I don't know.
That could be a discussion, for another day. But
real quick. Spider-Man's 0.3, Wolverine's 0.3, Batman's 0.3.
he's over Batman.
I don't think we had a fresher list of 0.3 than Wolverine's.
No, he's over Batman. That's for sure.
It's between him and Spider-Man for 0.3.
That's why I said top 2.
Spider-Man out.
I ain't getting over my bias.
I'm full bias here, so I feel that. Dang, am I triple bias?
In my opinion, 0.3 biased.
Technically.
Kind of. When are we going to mash these all up and just do a full-on list? That's...
Oh, man. We're going to have to one day I think Spider Brando said it in our last tier list. We might do this. Maybe when we get a couple more tier lists. I think this is our third or fourth?
Should we do Joker next?
Oh, we
Man,
definitely could. That'd be fun.
Did
But
we?
I was gonna say maybe we could do every 5 or 6 tiers, and we can pit them against each other. All the 0.3s from those.
You gotta do
Just to
Deadpool
kinda see.
next too.
Huh?
So you gotta do a Deadpool one. I don't know how many suits he has, to be honest, but like
Not
just
as
to
many.
go with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wizard Deadpool.
I was gonna say Funko
dude,
Pops
actually,
don't
yeah, there's
count
a
though.
fucking Funko.
Because
Got
we'd
King
be
Deadpool,
here.
Bedtime Deadpool. I can
Yeah.
name them. Like I have that whole first set. I can name them all right now.
Bro,
Yeah,
In
no.
a
ask me.
pool, dog pool. Maybe after Deadpool comes out, we could just do like a ranking on variants that we see in there on top of just general comic suits and stuff.
True. We could do that. We could also probably end up doing X-Men at some point, just ranking X-Men. That would be really fun, I feel like, and we would probably ruffle a lot of feathers just because
Oh my gosh.
X-Men are a lot of people's favorite.
Here's my suggestion. X-Men 97 versus Avengers, but the Earth's mightiest heroes.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
I would be down for that.
Well, until then, though, this is the Wolverine tier list. To quickly go over it, a 0.3 first. Once again, we don't have a the heck is this. In C tier, at the bottom, we have Fang Wolverine. Next up, we have the X-Men 1 Wolverine costume. In B tier, we have X-Men Evolution. We have, after that, X-Men Origins Wolverine, his jacket costume. Then Ultimate Comics Wolverine. After that, in A tier, at the bottom, but again, still very highly ranked, we have the Asgardian armor from Fear itself. We have Old Man Logan. We have the Krakoan era Wolverine. And then we have his first appearance in Hulk 181, 180, depending who you are. After that, in 0.3 certified, the best of the best. Again, the best palette swap ever. X-Force Wolverine, the best modern redesign. In Astonishing, the best feral design of Wolverine. In Weapon X, the smoothest man alive. In Patch, then we have the most iconic alternate costume to ever exist in his brown one. And then we have what could be debated one day as the most iconic superhero design ever in all of history, in the classic Tiger Stripe costume. That is your 0.3 Wolverine tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely had fun with this one. But that's all the time that we have for this week. So make sure you subscribe to us, follow us on all of our social medias, join us on Discord where we have community nights and just a bunch of chat. Remember, Discord sees a lot of this stuff first and gets to chat with us a lot about the things going on first before we get to do it here. So if you want to do that with us, definitely join us over there. But until next Wednesday, live stream 9:05, 9:10 Eastern Standard Time. There are 3 things that you need to keep doing constantly. That's keep watching, keep reading. In this case, keep nerding out about Wolverine because he's coming soon. Until then, we'll see you later. Take care.